What's up, guys? Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Ben. Welcome to episode number 15 of Mix of Six Live, brought to you by Central PA Pour. So, we got a few things on the agenda tonight, and then we'll get right to our great guest. First up is our giveaway that we are rolling with. Let me throw this up on the screen for a minute. So we have a giveaway rolling right now. We're trying to get to 500 YouTube subscribers. So what you got to do to enter the giveaway is sub to the YouTube channel, post on social media, any social media. We got them all. Tag us, tag 3 friends, use the hashtag CPP500, and you'll be entered into a giveaway. We are giving away a Central PA Pour tumbler. We're giving away $50 to the Haymauer Brewing Company and $50 more to a local business brewery of your choice. Whatever the case may be there. But we got a long way to go. I think we're clocking in at 136 subscribers, same amount as last week. So we're riding it out till we get to 500. Hopefully, everybody watching this, sub to the YouTube channel. You click the link tree in any of our social media bios, and you can get that nice sub to the YouTube channel button, make it nice and easy for you. And while we're talking about the link tree, also on the link tree, you can book a spot to be a guest on this show or on our full-length podcast episodes as well. Full-length episodes coming out every other Saturday, wherever you get your podcasts, at Central PA Pour on social media and on YouTube as well. So we appreciate all the love on social, and we are going to keep things moving on to the Cumberland Valley Beer Trail. So if you remember correctly, a few weeks ago, I spoke about the Lancaster County Pour Trail, or I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Anyways, a lot of great associates there in Lancaster on that trail. And now we have the Cumberland Valley Beer Trail kicking off for another great year. So the 2022 Beer Trail Pass is up March 12th, and then the 23 Beer Trail Pass kicks off in April. So a lot of great names and faces participating in that one. Pizza Boy, ABC, Haymauer, Back Porch, Molly Pitcher, to name a few. We've spoken to a few of those good folks as well. So check out any of the participants that I named, as well as several others in the Cumberland Valley area, and you can log right in and get that pass. So we have a few upcoming things on the agenda. We have a ton of guests. We're actually booked out pretty far, which is great. However, I'm going to make a call to action for anybody watching this. Share it with a buddy, because we're still struggling a little bit on the viewership side, but we can't thank you to everybody watching and everybody that joins us and blesses us with their time on any of these shows. So just to name a few upcoming releases, we have talked to Lydian Stone, Moo Duck, the Southern County Amateur Brewing Society, Mad Chef, Boneshire Brew Works, Big Dog, Cartel Brewing, and Collusion Tap Works. And that is going to take us well into the springtime. I have some good news for you if you're watching this, though. We have every week available for Mix of Six Live guest spots, so book your chance to come up on the show now. We got a couple comments popping off in the agenda. We got, hi, Mom and Dad. Pops is watching from Toronto, Canada tonight. And we got Ern watching from Twin Cities, Minnesota. Thank you very much, all of you, for tuning in. And now I will, one more shout out. We got local band Gallo Glass featuring their song Scraps in that intro video. And now we are going on to the portion of the program with our awesome guest. So let me fumble these around and welcome Michael. How are you doing tonight? Thank you for joining me.
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be a guest, and this is my first podcast, so thank you.
Is it? Awesome. Happy to be your first podcast. So thank you again for joining me. So Lindgren Craft Brewery, and let me get this straight: adventurously brewed. Where did that phrase come from?
So we like to think outside the box a little bit. So one of the things that, I got into the beer industry probably, I think I became a pro brewer 9 years ago. And okay. So it was we all become brewers because we want to brew the fun, funky stuff. And we start off brewing a little bit of this or a little bit of that before we add things that wouldn't traditionally go into beer, at least 9 years ago. And so I was working at Appalachian Brewing Company, where I met Jason Simmons, who was one of my mentors there. We were actually able to bring him back up from a brewery in Virginia. And sorry, I saw Mike Vogel in the comment section. He's one of our number one fans. So shout out to Mike Vogel for tuning in.
Shout out, Mike. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it.
So Adventurously Brewed, like I said, we do the fun, funky stuff. We do a popcorn cream ale, where cream ales traditionally use flaked corn. Instead, we use mushroom variety popcorns. We spend 8 hours popping popcorn on a air popper the day before, and then it goes right into the beer. We do a shiitake mushroom saison. A little bit goes a long way on beers like that. We're also doing a year-long water study with Indian Echo Caverns right now. And we are going to be brewing a beer with some of the water from Crystal Lake I don't think it's the very back lake. It's the one forward from it. So we like to push the envelope, but also brew those tasty traditional styles as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that got to hit all the market there. So how did the release for 0001 go recently?
It was awesome. We basically sold out. So right now we are brewing on a 3-barrel system, and we are going to keep that as our Brew X system. So our brew exploration brew house. And then we are going to finish installing our 15-barrel brew house later this year. But those 3 barrels we have the last keg on here, and then there's 1 and a partial cases that'll be available during our pop-up Friday and Saturday.
Now, is there a significance to that first batch being a Baltic Porter?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
There was, we wanted to do something that was big, something that could age. A Baltic Porter, it kind of just fit the bill, and being the first national beer of Duncannon. For those that don't know, we are in the First National Bank of Duncannon. So we bought a building that was built in 1924 and are remodeling it. And so we wanted something people could set away and taste it down the road.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm definitely going to dive into the bank here soon, but let's turn back the clock a little bit. So, is your family originally from the Duncannon area?
Yes. I'm from the Duncannon area. My parents won't like me telling, but they're from New Jersey.
Yeah, they get a bad rap around these parts for some reason.
Yes.
We don't have to share those reasons, so we all know them. So, up until the transition to the bank, you guys were brewing on the family farm. Is that correct?
Yep. So my family has a turkey farm right outside of town. And so we converted an old milk house, and it was a little 16 by 16 foot space. And we originally started off on a used 2-barrel system, gradually upgraded that. And the idea behind all of that originally was proof of concept. Would Duncannon support a brewery? And my opinion is the folks really underestimate Duncannon. We're a short distance from Harrisburg. We have a lot of outdoor recreation around here, where when we open our door, we'll be the only brewery physically on the Appalachian Trail. So people greatly underestimate Duncannon, and we built a 1,700 square foot addition onto the back of the building. So we have a lot more room for activities now.
So quite a bit of a transition. I think I read on your site that it has been vacant for 5+ years now, or was there a heavy lift to get that ready for your family's vision?
2020.
Okay.
Really paused everything. We did our first pop-up. We bought the building January of 2020. It was full steam ahead. And then, and I hate the word, but we pivoted along with everybody else.
Right.
Prior to that, we were hand writing all of our labels. So what we were doing was about an hour or two to do 28 22-ounce bottles. We were handwriting those labels, and originally my dad was handwriting them all. And the one morning we came to him before a market and had told him that, hey, we need 300 more. And he's like, I'm done. We're not, I'm not doing any more. Jason and I started writing them. I think Jason even took some home and his kids started writing some labels, and it became a family affair on all ends.
We got a couple.
We took 2020 to get into cans and focused on
Gotcha.
the distribution more.
We got a couple people saying hi in the comments. We got Mackenzie Miller. Let me see if we pop that up here.
Hey, Mackenzie.
So glad you guys got the brew bank open. The wife and I are excited for it to get to full operation. So
yeah, and there's Jason Simmons. He
there we go. Those are the days, Jason. Ernie says, fun time and good for you guys staying the course. And absolutely correct. I mean,
Yeah.
we'd heard several stories of folks, really buckling down and making it through those tough times, whether it was state regulations or supply chain issues for equipment, whatever the case may be. So props there. And definitely, I'm glad you mentioned Pops, because I wanted to talk about your dad. I sidebar, I really appreciate the website because, hell, it makes for an easy interview. You guys are very informative, and I appreciate it. And it definitely gets some little tidbits to pick at there. So I saw your father was a naval veteran, electrical engineer, I believe, and an entrepreneur. So does he handle a lot of that kind of business operational side of things, or?
I feel so. Right now, the team is Jason Simmons, myself, and Dad.
Okay.
If you see Dad around and ask him our relationship, he will tell you I'm his dad, and I'll have to tell you he's my son. Full disclaimer, that's my son for future reference.
Understood.
Right now, our team is sort of a jack of all trades. I know we're all doing paperwork, we're all doing sales, we're all doing brewing. Dad likes to avoid the brewing portion sometimes.
Okay.
But his background wasn't necessarily getting in there and handling TC clamps. So
that's I mean, you gotta wear multiple hats, especially when you're getting this bad boy off the ground. So
right.
So the website made it seem like you may have been following in your son's footsteps for a while there, and in pursuit of an electrical engineering degree as well.
Yes.
But then another interest came about, and you just kind of, hate to use the word again, pivoted towards another plan. So how was that plan derived, as far as, the family coming together, Poach and Jason, to launch Lindgren Craft Brewery?
Yeah. So growing up, Dad and I always said we were going to start a business together, and what that business has changed over time. I started at Penn State in electrical engineering, and by the time I got to my junior year, well, I'll back up. Freshman year, we did a Yuengling tour, and I got what I refer to as shiny tank syndrome. And you're walking through Yuengling, and there's these big, beautiful tanks. And I think a lot of engineers and engineering students, when they go into the real world, think that they're going to be building the next Iron Man suit. And then we're greatly disappointed as we get stuck in electrical circuit design and all these software programs. So brewing was one of those things that really mixes the science and the art together. And when you're 18 years old, you can go into a homebrew store and buy all the ingredients to start homebrewing. So Christmas of my freshman year of college, I started homebrewing. I brewed a Belgian Strong, which was 9%. I don't like Belgians now that I know what I'm doing, but 9% was awfully good back in those days. So I got to my junior year, and I really realized that I wanted to get into the beer industry, and electrical engineering wasn't for me. And I dropped out, much to the dismay of my parents. And so I interviewed at Appalachian Brewing Company as a server. And I like to say I said all the right things to the wrong people until they pointed me to the right person. And so they offered me a 3-month unpaid internship. And I was one of the people that showed up every day for those 3 months. And at the end, they offered me a brewer position. So I was a 21-year-old brewer. Ultimately, when I left, I was the brew pub's head brewer. So I managed all the satellite locations, connected them to Harrisburg. I was helped install their Mechanicsburg location. I brewed there, helped out with Harrisburg, and it was quite the experience of having to manage all those locations to starting my own place. And
Right.
I got the great opportunity of meeting Jason, and he's been brewing 15, 20 years himself. And I think he has a really cool story. He started off as an EMT and ultimately was brewing. And I'm going to butcher this, Jason, so I apologize. It was Bell's or Bluebell's Brewery in the Wachovia Center. And he was the brewer there and was running that before he jumped
There's a
around.
brewery in the Wachovia Center?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. I mean, that was a few sponsors ago anyways, if we're talking about the same building.
Yes.
So, again, during my homework, I found an event that Red Bell. There's Jason. I found an event roughly 4 years ago, I believe it was, that your first beer release came out. So
Yes.
congratulations on that 4-year anniversary. I was curious, at what point in time did the National Bank become the target, or was that just by chance?
We looked at it back in 2017, 2018, and the previous owners wanted way too much. And so the bank continued to sit empty for a number of years. And so Dad's one of the best negotiators, and his best negotiation tactic is time. And 4 years is a really good tactic to get a building. And it worked out because they covered up a ton of character. We did look at a number of other places that I think would have been cool, but there's 20-foot vaulted ceilings in here. We're going to put some glass back into the front, and those windows are my waist high up to the 20-foot ceilings. The vault is still here, and we're utilizing the lock boxes in the vault as our key holders, and our key holders are our mug club. So every mug club member key holder gets a lock box that coincides with their mug number.
Wow, that's very neat.
Yeah.
So, the first release just happened relatively recently. Is the tap room isn't open, is it, or is it?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Now, is there a date in mind for that, or is it still, to be determined?
We're waiting on a update. We're going to probably be working with the same contractor that built the addition onto the back. We're waiting some feedback on getting open up here. And my train of thought on that is being closed down. We're doing pop-ups on Fridays and Saturdays. Being closed down in March is a lot better than being closed down in April. Being closed down in April is a lot better than being closed down in May, and so on and so forth. So the sooner we get in here, the better. It's coming. It's coming.
Now, what's the vision there? Is there going to be a full kitchen?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have a full kitchen. And I always tell folks, my background is beer. That's where I'm comfortable. Our kitchen side will probably have 10, 12 items, some pub foods, some rotating entrees. I'm married into a restaurant. My father-in-law is a third-generation owner of a local restaurant here, and his advice is always, don't do the restaurant. So naturally, I did the restaurant, and but it's good. We want to be family-oriented. We're designing some sodas. We're working on some other things. We want to do beer and food pairing events, showcase different styles of beers from around the world every month, and having the ability to be adventurously brewed. Oftentimes those beers don't necessarily sell at distributors. You get people to come in, you can tell the story and explain why you did what you did. And there's that two-face to distribution and tasting room that we're learning right now.
Gotcha. Very well. Oh my goodness. I blanked on my next question.
I'm talking too much. I'm sorry. I get nervous.
No, it's okay. Right back at you. I've been doing this for 15 weeks now. And hell, I mean, if you don't get the butterflies, then why are you doing it?
Right.
Oh, the back the bank. I was reading through the back the bank programs, the different levels on the website. And what a phenomenal idea. Who's the mastermind behind those different levels of support?
So that was something that we all worked on. We worked with a local marketing. Her name is Deb Schultz, and she helped us design our website and really helped us essentially create our own Kickstarter. And we wanted something where people could be a part of it. And the key holders are selling like hotcakes. and that's really cool. We get people not even just from Duncannon, Harrisburg area, a couple people up towards Selinsgrove, and these folks are driving down every weekend, tasting beers, getting here for our beer releases, and it's humbling when people you never met before are coming and becoming friends. That's really cool.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems like a relatively convenient location for several people as well, because as you mentioned, Selinsgrove, Harrisburg, it's a good spot to be right in the middle of it all.
Yes, yes.
So I imagine most of the focus is on getting the doors open and not so much maybe festival scene or things of that nature.
We will be hitting festivals
Okay.
this year. That's one thing that we talk about regularly is we don't want to fall off the festival scene just because we're opening. And that's how we have been able to keep the lights on the last few years. And we've gotten a lot of folks that'll continue to follow us around. And we don't want to eliminate that because that's who we are. We like going out and talking about beer.
Right. Right. Well, Michael, I appreciate your time tonight. It's been a pleasure to get to speak with you, and like I mentioned before we went on the air, I'm really looking forward to hopefully sitting down for a full length interview going forward and hanging
We'd love
out
to have
and
you.
learning the backbone of some of the beers. So thank you very much for your time this evening. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Are you? I'm assuming. Well, yeah, obviously you guys are on social media, um, Facebook, Instagram, anything beyond that?
We do that. That's pretty much it. We do some
Okay.
stuff on YouTube, but Instagram and Facebook is where it's at.
Okay. Well, you got it, folks. Check out Lindgren Craft Brewery on social media. We are at Central PA Pour on social media, wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Um, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m., tune in right back here live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you very much. Cheers to everybody watching. Cheers,
Cheers.
Michael. Thank you again for your time. Let's all be bonded by beer, folks. Have a great night.